discussion? Yes, I got it. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about just the basics of Google Sheets, which is the spreadsheet tool, and we're going to be looking at Google Slides, which is the PowerPoint tool, similar to PowerPoint. I think Google would probably be very angry if I said it was the PowerPoint tool, but this is why I'm not an official Google trainer. So Google Sheets, as I mentioned, is the spreadsheet, right? So they're both spreadsheet tools. Like we're very familiar with using Excel, right? We've all for many years used Excel. So here's just a quick little diagram of what's the difference and what's the same, right? So they are both spreadsheet tools and they have similar functions and formulas. So, but the Google Sheets, it's free. Excel, which Excel actually is free for us as employees. We have it, and so do our students. So that's, yes, it's paid for, but it's free to us. So the Google Sheets is a cloud-based app. Excel is a desktop app, but it does have a cloud version. Google Sheets is better for collaboration. As you guys maybe were in the Google Docs one, you can share and everybody can work in the same document at the same time. For Excel, you actually have to share things out to OneDrive. Excel is probably better for big analytics. Like if you're VP Anderson doing data and research here on the campus, you were not using Sheets. You were definitely in Excel. But for most of the things I do, Sheets is just fine. So it's just kind of the differences in it there. So let's actually, over here for me to look at, and we're gonna pull up Sheets. So, and how you get to Sheets, which actually I thought it was Sheets, and now if I'm looking at the URL, it actually says Spreadsheets.
How embarrassing.
I know. Okay, so if you type in Sheets, it is Sheets. Oh. But it goes, the actual one, it goes to Spreadsheet. Interesting. So here I am on my Google account. I went to Google Spreadsheets. If you're on Docs or Sheets here, you can click this little, I call that the hamburger menu, the little 3-line. This is a hamburger. This is a kebab, the little 3 guy. So if you click on the hamburger, you'll have access to your doc sheet, slides, and forms right there. So we're in our sheet. Now, to get started with a sheet, it's very similar to docs. You can come right here and get a blank sheet to start. They also do have a few templates. So if you click on this template gallery, you can see there's a few, these are ones shared with LC State College, interesting. And then there's some general ones. So like if you're doing a grade book, there's a template already in there for you, right? And basic things, you know, financial data, to-do lists. There's a few in there, scheduling work. And then you're able to edit those once they're yours, but it's just another way to do that. We're going to go ahead and just start with a blank document today. And then we're going to look at just kind of the brief, like, terminology, what we're doing when we're in here, and what it can do to help you with some kind of basic functions. So it's like the weird screen. I'm gonna get this guy off there. Okay. So once you're in the spreadsheet, it's very similar to how docs are laid out. You've got up here at the top, you've got your title for it. So you'll always want to give it a title. I'm going to call sample CTO. Because today's our sample in the CTO. If you're needing to start a new document, there's actually a couple of different ways you can do it. You can come here and say new, right? New spreadsheet, or from the template gallery, just like I've shown you on that first screen. You can also do them on that first screen, or you can actually just type in, I think it's Google Sheets new. Google.sheets.new. Oh, I typed net. Anytime people watch you type, you can't type, just so you know. It's like a phenomenon. No, maybe not. I might be lying. Oh, it's just sheets. Try that.
I can't type when people listen to me type.
Yeah, so there, that's what it is. So if you're in here, if you just in your URL type sheets.new, it brings up a new spreadsheet for you. So even if you're just real quick needing to pull one up, you don't even have to go to the Google Apps and do the Google Sheets. You can just type that in and there you go. So that's another way you can get them in there. You've got the typical toolbar here at the top. You know, we're used to seeing that when we're in something like Excel, right? Well, you have it right here within Google. So you've got your file, edit, view, insert, all of those. And then you also have your content editor tool. So you have all the abilities to change font size, colors, indentation, symbols, colors, printability, all of that, just like you do in a regular spreadsheet. So let's look at how you can add data to a spreadsheet, okay? And then a few things you can do with the views and stuff. And then maybe we'll pull up one of the templates and look at that as well. So again, it's very similar to Excel, which I think a lot of us have used. You can actually open Excel files in here, and you can actually export these as Excel. And when after we have some data in there, I'll show you guys about the exporting part. But again, you just click in a cell and start typing. So let's say we were trying to do a schedule. So I'm going to actually leave that one there, and we're going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can navigate through cells. I'm just using the tab key. So when I go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, after I type Thursday, tab, if I hit enter, so if I go Friday and hit enter, it's going to take me down the line. So I'm using the tab when I'm moving left to right, and enter when I'm trying to go down the line. And then let's do morning, renewed, evening. So then we're able to have our cells. Now, let's say this is where I do A. I'm just using fake data here, if you guys didn't notice. I'm just putting in. We've got B.
You could have told us it was real.
I could have. Like, this is a very This is a very scientific. I don't even know what A, B, and C are. What I eat, apple, banana, carrot.
That is exactly what I thought. I was thinking. I was like, well, I didn't get to the carrot. I just got the apple and banana.
Yeah. So we're going with that. So now, say you have this as a table, right? And maybe you're going to be filling this out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's going to get huge. So there are a few quick things that I think are really handy for functionality in these. One of them is being able to freeze panes. So I can freeze that top row very easily. I just go view, freeze, one row, right? So now, no matter how far I scroll down, I could be in my week 120, and those top panes stay. And then you can also do the same with columns. So I can freeze one column. You'll notice it then gives me this gray area. There's another way you could put it up. No, not what I need it. I think you can, oh yeah, that's what it is. So after you put that freeze in, you can actually drag it to where you want it to as well. So like now I've dragged it to where I'm, right, how did I use my first column? Oh, I'm making it worse. Look at me.
Undo.
I know. I think you're right. I want to see it. I don't know what I was
There
doing.
it is.
Yeah.
Can you drag it like that in Excel?
No.
I didn't think so.
There. Yeah. Okay. I think sometimes I'm a Mac user. When I'm on a Windows computer, sometimes my brain and my mouse don't go right because and so I think I may have done that. That may have been user error, not computer error. But these little freeze lines, I guess what I'm saying, they actually live right here. So instead of going to this view and say freeze, you can actually just drag them from right. They usually live right here on this corner. So just another quick way to be able to do it. You can also insert, everything that you can think of. You can, just extra cells, extra rows, but you can also insert, actually, I've never done a timeline. That's new. That's interesting. You can insert charts, images, drawings, functions. I won't get too much into functions today because I am not a functions person. I don't know that much about how they work other than being able to use like the sum tool. So, but there are a ton of functions that you can use within, they're all built in, right? We can convert from another base to a decimal, we can compare two numeric values, we can convert a hexadecimal number to binary. Like, look at that, like, it's got it all built in here,
It's
right?
beyond my function.
Exactly, yeah.
Needs
So-
and interests.
Right, so,
You might
Like-
need this for your portfolio.
so like, these will make sense to me, you know, like array, database, date, engineering, filter, and financial, okay, but what's Google got? Like, you can use Google, runs Google Visualization API
Oh,
query.
Google
language.
Translate.
Wow. Yeah, so like that stuff's beyond what I'm trying to show, so, but then also the things that I guess and probably the designer in me always wants to make sure things are visually appealing and stuff. And so using the format area within Excel is something I'm a little more used to. You can actually do themes within Excel. So if you are, you know, preparing this for a report or anything and you would like it to look a certain way, you can actually use these themes. And then when you make pie charts or anything from your data, it will follow that color scheme. So that is kind of nice. It makes that visually cohesive, especially if you're maybe putting this into a Google Doc and you use a theme there, they all do color coordinate. So it's good to know that those are there. So also under the format, excuse me, you can do, you can have things like alternating colors on rows. You know, this can be really nice, especially if you have a lot of data. Make sure that you get all of that stuff in there. You can give it a range of where it's doing that. It has all of those wonderful features in there, and you can tell it like, hey, I want my header to be this color, and what lines you want to be what color. And that kind of allows you to make it how you want it to look, right? Like, because a lot of times we are preparing these for our students to be able to look at or to put into a report, and how it looks matters. So those are all features that are under the format. Data, again, this is, you can filter views, you can create filters. So say you have a ton of data in there, you can filter anything and be able to sort it as you can. And it does have, you know, the typical things of spelling and accessibility checkers. So you can get a screen reader report if you want. We'll say most of the kind of stuff in Excel is fairly screen reader friendly, just because as long as you're not putting too much in individual cells. And then the only thing to think about is if you are using color, making sure that you have that color contrast in between. So like if you don't have like pink background with yellow text, right? Just those basic things. I'm gonna not run that right now, just so we're not having that in the background. And then the same with a lot of those formatting tools, you know, you saw you can format font size and stuff, but you actually can do that mostly from right here in the toolbar. So I can just do most of what you need up here. If you need more options, you can click the little dot, dot, dot. This also has some of the basic formulas right here for you. The ones, honestly, the ones that I use are really these right here. The sum, average, count, max, min, right? Like, there's really not much more to that than I need.
Do you think it uses the same formulas? If for example, like a percentage formula, or if you just,
Oh,
yeah,
I think if you want to be really specific, I think you have to come down and do like financials and have it find like the one that's the
the
first
one that is the,
Yeah. It's obviously not gonna be called percentage, right? Because they're gonna have a fancy name for it, that I don't know. But the one that, you know, one I think I really use the most is just sum, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, like, I just need you to add it up. So, that's kind of the basics of sheets. The only, yeah, average is a good one too, yeah. Especially in grade books. So the last part that I really want to show you guys is just that you know that you can download these. So you can download this now as a Microsoft Excel file, as a actually, I don't even know what ODS is. I don't, PDF. I would say if you're going to be providing this, you don't want the data changed, using the PDF is a good way to do it. CSV, again, another, and then TSV, those are just different ways that Excel looks at the data. So those are all there for you. And you can also share these. So similar to Google Docs, you can share, and then from here, you can share to someone. A.C. Wilson. Oops, well, see, you can't type when somebody's watching. So I can share this to Angela Wilson, which I don't know why there's two Angelas, but and then you can give them editor access to commenter and so on. Now, let's say you were using this Excel file and you wanted to be if you were going to be putting it on your Google Sites. So you were going to be sharing it and wanted people to be able to view it. You do want to make sure that you have it set to do that. I want to make sure. I think what we want to do is copy the link. Yeah, and so you want to say anyone with the link can be a viewer, and then copy that link, and that's how you'll get it into your sheets. All right, you guys have any questions about, or into your sites? Do you guys have any questions about sheets before we look at slides? It's pretty basic. It's just good to know that it's there for you. You know, they're really quick. They just live on the cloud. You can access it anywhere. You know, it's pretty handy. So, all right, let's pull up.
I've got the Google options for years, and I'm ready to give in.
I almost always use Sheets
I do
instead
too.
of Excel. If I
Excel
need-
is-
Yeah.
Excel is just kind of overkill for most of the stuff I'm using it for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much. So, yeah. All right, let me.
They're pretty much the same. So,
Yeah,
Unless you were doing serious loads of data. If you were doing high loads of data, then yes, Excel is probably the better way to do it.
I might be done fighting it. I fought it for a good long time.
Yeah.
well, and the sharing is really nice.
The
So
sharing
it
is really nice.
Like
Yeah.
with my intern this semester, we've got all these shared sheets that she puts stuff in and I put stuff in. And
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's look at slides real quick. Yeah, my mouse up there. Okay. So if I go back to my Sheets home and then I click on Sheets right here, or no, click on the hamburger, sorry. I can go right to slides. So we're gonna go ahead and go look at Google Slides. So Google Slides, and I know Google would cringe at me saying this, is basically PowerPoint for Google, right? It's kind of similar to that Excel thing, you know, if PowerPoint still does have more features, more options. But how often are we using all those features in PowerPoint, right? And the share feature on here is super nice. So let's just take a look real quick at how we get a slide started, some basics of setting one up, and we'll go from there. So I'm on the slides page. Again, similar to Sheets, you have your ability to start a blank one, or you can use the templates. Now, if you notice in Sheets, there wasn't quite as many templates because, I mean, those are kind of, they're not as creative. It's data. But here, if we go to the template gallery, there's actually a lot more templates out there. And if you're, wanting a Google Slides one, we're going to use Google. We're going to Google Slides templates, and I bet a whole bunch come up, right? So if you're looking for something really specific, like you really, really want one that is, let's back and fall, right? Exactly. So right here, you can come in and then notice it's got the little symbol for Google Slides, and you just click on that. And it actually will load you, right? And that's how most of those slide template websites work. So
That's crazy.
yeah, and they're
And free. Are most of
yeah,
them?
most of
Many
them
of them are free.
Yeah, this is one I've used. This website, the Carnival one, I've used for several things, like and like I say, you just look for the, and a lot of times you can get them as PowerPoint too. So just look for the little symbol. Yeah. So they're all three. Or like if you're very much like my presentation, I want it to have, I don't have green in it. Why did green come up when I was doing that? But you know, like I really want, you know, geometric soccer fun. So, but yeah, they usually have nice templates. So kind of cool. And again, we use Google to make a Google for us. So I'm gonna go back to my regular one, and I am just gonna grab one of the templates that they have in here just for the sampling, so you guys can see what happens. Let's see here. Your big idea, that one looks good. I like that. All right, so we use this as a sample. Again, very similar to PowerPoint, right? Got our slides over here on the left. We've got the slide we're working on here. We can type in some notes. Again, same as on Sheets, we've got our tools up here at the top. We've got our content editor right here. Here on the slides, you can do that new, again, if you're doing a presentation or from the template gallery. You can also make a copy. So like a lot of times, okay, we came to your guys' division retreats, right? So Angela and I make one slideshow, right? And then we have a few things that are different in our presentations, right? So then she sends me hers and I make a copy, I make a couple edits. You know, it's pretty, but that's a way to do that. Also, sometimes I'll make a copy of one for myself. Like if I'm working on a presentation, you know, because it's like, I really like it how it is. I'm gonna mess with it. I'm gonna make myself a copy. It's just in the cloud, who cares? Make yourself a copy, name it, you know, first draft, whatever. Like, why not? You know, use it if you need it. So that's how you can get started. Now, right here, you'll notice when you open up these templates, especially the ones that are made from Google itself, they usually put in every slide layout possible. If you notice here, like, I mean, literally every slide layout possible. So you can come in here, obviously, if there's pages that you don't like, you don't think you'll be using, you can either right click and hit delete or just use delete on your keyboard. Got it there. Okay. But one of the nice things too is once you're in here, you see here it says background, layout, theme, and transition. I'm going to go ahead and click on that theme. And usually they have all the different themes once you're already in here. So like if I'm in here and I'm like, man, this orange and this big idea is just not cool, I'm just going to go to material. And it will actually take all that content that I've put in there and just change my theme. So it's not like I have to redo my slides because I want a different layout. Anything I've put in there, this will just change it for me. And you can do that. So that was under themes, but you can also do it with background. So like I'm on this, what was this called? Material theme, but in the color, I can actually tell it like, no, I want dark. Oh, it should change it for me. It didn't. Oh no. Oh, why didn't it do it? Oh, I think I have to add the theme. See, this is why there. I had to say add, not done. Sorry. So then we've got this nice little plum color back here. So that's what's in there. And then if you're trying to add a new slide, right, you can use this little plus, and that will just put a blank one, right? Or you can use a little drop down right next to it, and then you can pick which slide layout you want. So if you've got your title, most of them, and most of the templates have similar things to this, right? They've got a section header, a title and body, one with 2 columns, one with just a title, one left, one right. They have all the options there for you. So a lot of times how I start out doing these is I actually delete out most of what's in the template. And then I insert what I want as I go. That's just a personal way of doing it. You guys can do it how you think you need to. So let's say then we want to have a section header and then let's do a 1-column text. And then just like in PowerPoint, you can drag these and drop up. So like if I made them in a certain order and then I was like, oh, that's awful, you move them around how you want. And it is good to use these templates for a couple of reasons. One, it does make it look cohesive, right? The other is this does help with a screen reader. So if you do share this out, using those templates does make it so that it's in a correct reading order, that it knows there's a title on the slide. So it is recommended to use the templates, not just for visual stuff, but also for accessibility on it. And again, you have all the features there. You can insert images, you know. Oh, I probably don't have any Google Photos on this account. Ooh. Royal, if we, oh, no camera. I think the camera's. I was gonna take a picture of us and then but you've got, you know, like I said, all those features where you can insert images, whatever you want. Right. By URL. You do this. That seems like a bad idea.
Can you use this URL to insert a tiny picture of the PowerPoint within the PowerPoint? Oh, the Google Slides within the
Let's
Google
try it.
Slides.
Let's just try it. Just for fun. I've never thought about
Meta.
My brain is.
Oh, cannot find access or image. What if we do?
Your brain can relax because it's not going to happen. We don't get a mini Google Slides within the Google Slides.
I'm curious. Yeah, it's not an image file, so it doesn't do it. Yeah. Well, how I would recommend doing this, I just don't have Google Images saved on this account. This is my work account, and so I don't have images saved there. But the really nice thing is if you do have stuff saved in your drive, photos in your drive, or in Google Photos, this links directly to them. So this is the account I use for demoing things, so I don't really have any pictures on there. So, but yeah, that's all there for you. And then you can still insert, you know, a text box when you need to, and you have all the colors and features that you could possibly wish for up here. And again, if you click the kebab, you get even more options. You do have the ability to make transitions between slides and with things on a slide. Now, as a designer, please refrain from doing anything crazy with these. I can't stand slideshows where it is like blinds in and then the text flies in and then another thing jumps in. Please don't do that. Just please don't. But if you do want to have, you know, slide transitions, if you want to have a, you know, fade in and out or what, you can do that. One nice thing here is you can actually, where I went to this was up here in this toolbar, transitions. You can actually tell it to fade and then you can say apply to all slides, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, because I do actually like the fade where it's not an abrupt change, right? Like that it goes in and out. So you can do that. And then you still have the ability to do object animations if you want. So say you wanted this title to have its own animation, you can add that as well. So it's all under there. And then once you get to your slideshow, you can click here and you can say if you want a presenter view or if you just want the slideshow to go up. Now, if you guys are familiar with a presenter view, and I don't know if how this will work because I'm like sharing on Zoom. And so we're going to try it. I'm going to hit presenter view. What that does is it puts the slides usually up on the one you're presenting on, but then you have your notes on the computer you're sitting at. But I'm curious how this is going to. Maybe not. I don't need to know about it. Yeah, so this is my presenter view. And of course I don't have anything on all my slides, but it's nice because the presenter view gives you the timer. You would have your notes right here and then your presentation. Okay, so I'm going to move this. Oh, I just closed it. I'm going to move this to the other side and then I'll pull my presentation up. Maybe. There it is. So then I would have my presentation here. Got this over here. Good to go. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about slides? Oh, the last part. Same thing with sheets and docs and everything. You can do download and you can export it. So you can do it to a PowerPoint. You can do it straight to a PDF. You can also have it be JPEG image of the current slides. So if you're just needing that slide, same with PNG. So
So one thing I like in PowerPoint
Mhm.
is you can be on an individual slide and click on design ideas.
Yes.
You can't do that.
No, there's no
It's
design
just the
idea.
theme.
It's just the theme, and yeah, there is not a design idea. So it doesn't say, hey, this layout would look really great with the information you have on here. No, it's basically you get your, you can pick when you're putting it in. And that's kind of and then besides that, it's just the themes that you have. So yeah, it doesn't have the suggestions. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, you can start with that, right? Get your
Right.
basics in there.
Yeah.
And then bring it in here. So you can do it that way too, right? A lot of times when you do that, you don't have quite as many options with the drop down here. But I think most of the time I don't know, we don't get that involved, our slideshow should be more about the content that's in it, not so much the layouts of it, so.
What do you think the best way for a class of students is for the best way for them to share their PowerPoints? So say you have speeches or presentations one day and you have 12 students who are supposed to
Yeah.
share. What do you think?
So I do think slides is better for that type of thing than PowerPoint. You can have the students submit their slides in Canvas. So then really either you as the instructor can sign in and pull them up for them, or you can have each individual student sign into Canvas, because then you're not struggling with the 12 students forgetting their Google passwords.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fun.
And so, that might be one where it is better to have them submitted in Canvas before the day they present. And then again, either you could go in to the submissions and pull it up for them, or I would hope they all know their Canvas passwords at least. You would hope.
You would hope, but
They may not.
it's very slow, right? So I think
Yeah.
it'd be nice to gather them
Yep.
in one place.
Yeah, and so you could set up a assignment submission, and then you can grab up the links out of SpeedGrader, or if you're wanting them to actually see each other's comment on it, you can always use a discussion post where they could share it.
So they would just submit the URL to their Google.
So you could do it two
slideshow,
different
or-
ways. So you could actually set up a Google assignment using a slides,
Oh, okay.
which Angela
It
will
would
cover
be
a
the
little bit
Google
more of that
Okay.
in the later one. Or you could have them just share the URL. So either way. Yeah. I think slides is a better one for that. Also, slides are really great when you do have group work going on. So, and then you can, let me see here. I've had this happen where, I feel like that's the ones. Students are like, well, version history, that's what it is. So-and-so deleted my slides, I had them done. Yeah. So,
You have
yeah.
like somebody claimed it happened, but it didn't really happen, or somebody
No, it was
actually
in a
did.
Google Doc and I could
It's
see that
so
this person like
really-
took someone else's slot.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens. And so one of the things you can do then is file, and it says there should be a version history. Right down there, version history. Which I just made this, so I don't know. But it does, so that was basically one of the only things I did. I drew those two little boxes, right?
But it is
But it could've-
recorded.
It's recorded, right? Carrie Kyser did that. So just remind your students that. Now, if you do have them working on a group project here, I do recommend having them share it to you as well. Even if you're not really in there policing it. It's kind of a big brother effect, right? So it's a good way to do it too. Do you guys have any questions about those? No? Are we good? You can also do this as there's a way you can tell it to play automatically. So we're gonna Google that, because I think that's a good, isn't this funny? I felt silly Googling things about Google, but
It is the way.
That's how I learn things. That's what I thought, slideshow. Once in slideshow mode, drag the cursor over the bottom. Oh, okay. Let's try that. Here, we'll use this guy because it's prettier. slideshow. And it said drag the cursor. Oh, I saw it for a second. This is weird because I'm not on my, I saw the menu thing pop up. Where'd it go?
Oh, yeah, maybe because.
Because it's, I can't, I had it for a second.
The shape.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess once you're in slideshow, you can tell it's autoplay. So, because sometimes maybe you just want it up at the beginning of class. It's just running, you know, something like that.
So it seems like it can go pretty seamlessly between PowerPoint and Google Slides.
Yes.
Does Prezi play into this at all, or is Prezi
done it.
just out of fashion?
She's kind of, Prezi probably would not play well with Google Slides just because of the amount of code that's involved in a Prezi. I shy away from Prezis because they're really not accessible.
Oh, interesting.
Because of all the motion and jumping and stuff, they're really not accessible. So that's and they don't integrate with Canvas. Google integrates with Canvas. That's why we're getting learning. Yeah. Prezi still has some great designs, and if you're doing a presentation, go for it. But stuff that you're going to be giving to your students, I would highly recommend PowerPoint or Google Slides.
Last year, my students used many fewer Prezis than.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of faded out in the last few years. Yeah. I think a lot of that too is a lot of our kids are coming up through Google Classrooms.
Mm-hmm. I know now they all use Google.
They all use Google Slides. And you can remember if you just have a preference for it being in PowerPoint and you're asking your students to submit things, you can set it so they have to submit as a PPTX, right? And that's fine. Just tell them to export it. And don't ever have a student who tells you like, I can't do it in PowerPoint because I don't have PowerPoint, because they get it for free. This is my biggest, they're like, I don't have PowerPoint. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So, but yeah, a lot of our kids are coming up through Google Schools, you know, with their Chromebooks and stuff, and that's just what they're used to using. And honestly, for most of the stuff we do, we don't need a full PowerPoint. We don't need a full Excel. I liken it to, do either of you guys use Snagit to record videos?
Sometimes.
Okay, so did you ever use Camtasia?
I remember Camtasia.
Okay, so Camtasia was like, it's probably one of my favorite pieces of software, but it is above and beyond. Like, it does everything from video editing to sound editing to everything. And Snagit's like Camtasia's little brother, right? Like, for 99% of the things we do, Snagit is fine. And so it's kind of like that, you know, for 99% of the spreadsheets I make, Sheets fine. There's very seldom that I need an Excel sheet. So, yeah.
Good.
Okay.
What's Thursday?
Thursday's sites.
Sites. And is that you or Angela?
It's me.
It's you.
So like, this website I made. This is you.
Yep.
Do you want me to stop the
Yeah, would you
recording?
stop?
Yeah.
Bye everybody on the recording. Royal, you can stay if you want.